Hello! Are you ready for another sketchbook tour? Excellent, because today I have the second half of this sketchbook to go through with you. So let's get started, but before we do, I just want to caveat this by saying that this is a working document. Like, this is not final finished artwork by any stretch of the imagination. This is basically where I scribble down ideas, where I have like half-developed stuff, where I start something and then get bored and go on to something else. It's full of half-realised stuff. Colour swatches, sketches, like there's some lovely stuff in here, but it is a working document. So with that said, let's dive in and see what we've got. This is part 2, so if you haven't watched part 1 of this sketchbook tour, I'll pop it up in the corner for you so you can go and have a look at that. So we're picking up this one about halfway through. This is the painting that we finished on. So what we've got here is this painting, which you will have seen in the last sketchbook tour. I did mention that it would come back around again, and that's because I did the same, so I used the same image as reference and then I repeated it multiple times in multiple different media. I don't know why, just for fun. So this is this same reference image, but this time it's done using pastel pencil. I love pastel pencils. I prefer them to like soft pastels or chalk pastels because I really don't like that sort of powdery feeling on my fingers, and with pastel pencil you get all the lovely, you know, soft blurriness of pastels without any of that horrible chalky feeling on your fingers. So I really like using them. I really like using them for life drawing as well, because you can sketch with them and then you can smudge the lines and you get some really nice effects that way. So this is the same reference image, but this time this is done in coloured pencil, and this is using the Derwent's Colour Soft. So the pastel pencils I mentioned, these are the Derwent's pastel pencils. These are the ones that I use. The reason that there is some missing here is because I took them out when I was designing my limited colour palette. There's also a video about that which I will link up in the top corner. So the ones that I'm using as part of that colour palette are in a separate place. But these are the pastel pencils that I like to use. And the colour pencils, so this one is colour pencils, and the colour pencils that I used are the Derwent's Colour Soft. And again, the reason that there's some missing is because these are not the colours I use all the time. So the colours that are in my actual colour palette are in a separate place, so I can access them easily. But yeah, and the purpose of doing this kind of multiple times was just to kind of play with the materials. It meant I didn't have to think about the subject I was drawing, see very clearly like what different materials do. And I love to just play with materials. Like, a lot of these things I've been using for many years, but there's always stuff that I've forgotten about or stuff that surprises me, and my sketchbook is a wonderful place to just play. Just play. Sometimes it's a tactile experience. So this one, again, same reference image. This is done in oil pastels, and just the tactile like joy, the sensation of putting the colour down on the page is enough to make me want to do a drawing, basically. So this is a really fun exercise. So altogether we have the paint. This was in gouache in the last video. Then we have it in pastel pencil, and then in colour pencil, and then in oil pastel. And each one has different qualities, and I really like that. It's just fun to see how the same image rendered multiple times can give you such different effects. Okay, these are life drawing warm-ups, 1-minute poses. And for these I've used the Faber-Castell Albrecht Dürer watercolour markers. I think this is the full colour range I have from this. But they're lovely. They give you this really kind of juicy, jammy line. And they're double-ended. So they've got the big brush pen end, which is the one that I use. And then they do also have like a little marker end, but I don't think I ever reach for that. Big juicy brushes, that's my jam. Let's leave those there. So yeah, so this was a life drawing session. All of these drawings are horrible. Like, I don't know what kind of day I was having. I was not in the mood. I don't think I had drawn for a few days. There's a little cat down there. I don't know where they come from. Cats just explode out of any art material I'm using and cover the pages. Yeah, anyway, this is I think it was a Draw Brighton session. Draw Brighton have a fantastic Patreon, which is all life drawing, online life drawing. So these are just like warm-up poses. This one I quite like. This one feels like a more successful drawing. This is using the Art Graph, water-soluble graphite. It's really lovely for just kind of doing loose lines and things. So I have this little tin. That's what that looks like. And it's just like pencil, so you get that kind of shininess that graphite gives you. And then I also have a stick, graphite stick, which you can use a brush with and kind of wet the end, or you can just draw directly onto the page. But that's a really nice material. And I like this. I like how it turned out. Abandoned. This is really cute. I like this too. She had like a beach theme, I think. The model was in her own home. So she had like suntan lotion and a bucket and spade and I don't know what this was, some kind of fly swat or something maybe? Beach ball. Yeah, she was sat on a towel. It was so cute. It was such a lovely session. I like that texture on her hair. I think that's from the... Oh, can you see that? I think that's from that Art Graph. Oh, sorry about the wobbles. Oh, and this was a hideous pose. This was totally foreshortened. So huge feet and then going back up. I really, really struggled with this one. Oh, that was that. It was not a fly swat. It was a fishing net. Fishing net. So I quite like her feet. Her feet are cute. Oops. Okay, this is from another Patreon system. I got a bit obsessed with Patreon last year. I was trying kind of a lot of mixed media stuff, a lot of kind of techniques that are new to me or mediums that were new to me. And I just signed up for a bunch of Patreons and like live drawing sessions and yeah, just really kind of threw myself in. I wanted to take myself out of my comfort zone. As an illustrator, I had got very kind of fixed in my approach. I had a style and that was what worked for me. And then when I started doing sort of work in acrylic and doing kind of big canvases and stuff, that felt very disconnected from what I was doing in my sketchbook and what I was doing with my illustration work. So I just wanted to kind of really shake things up a bit and try materials that I hadn't tried and take myself out of my comfort zone and stuff. So everything on these pages is just like me trying new stuff and trying to do something different and challenging myself. But this one is Shivam Chowdhury. I'll put the link in the description to his Patreon. He is an amazing illustrator, like really, really beautiful work. And this session, it was moving images. Like if drawing from photo reference or drawing from life is one thing, but drawing from like a moving video is unbelievably difficult. And I think I was doing these with one colour in each hand and just kind of scribbling down as best I could. This guy I kind of like, actually. They were boxes. So they were moving in this lovely kind of rhythmic way. I like how this one turned out. And then I did the same thing with like ballerinas. And these are hilarious. I love them. Look at the face on this one. And this one. Oh, they make me laugh. They're so funny. She's pretty. She's not funny, she's just pretty. These ones are fabulous. But that was the same thing, just kind of watching a video of them moving around and being at the bar. And this, I'm just using Neocolour, and again, I think it was one colour in each hand. So yeah, the results are interesting. And these are more ballerinas. So these are super, super fast from a moving image. Like, these are done non-dominant hand, so we talked about this last time. I'm left-handed, so my non-dominant hand is my right hand. So these are done with my right hand. And this is the same ink pen, nasty, crusty ink pen that I showed you in part 1 of this. So it's this lovely, lovely colour that I mixed myself in a water brush. But it's crusty and gross. And maybe I should use it more. It's kind of stained the inside of the thing as well. Anyway, yes, so ballerinas, they look, I love the kind of the looseness of them and the freshness of them. I find that there's something really exciting about that. And then this was a chap doing Tai Chi, and I really like how his face came out. So this is just a colour pencil, I think. This is the view from my studio window. Just a really kind of rough, quick warm-up type sketch. So this is just using these in 3 different colours. The view outside my window, I'll put a clip up here or a photograph or something so you can see. But it is literally these 3 colours. Like, we've got the green shutters and the green roofs, we've got the red tiles, and then we've got this lovely kind of creamy yellow. And the colour story is exactly the same. So this is a really fun one to do. Just kind of standing, scribbling. I love it. This is actually one of my favourite drawings. Like, it's got such a memory attached to it, and it's got some freshness to it, and yeah, it was fun doing all the tiles, and yeah. Okay, these are very interesting. I really enjoyed doing these. So I just picked some pictures of random people from Unsplash. So for those of you who don't know, Unsplash is like a royalty-free photo directory, so you can download royalty-free photographs and you can use them as reference material. And I just collected a bunch of faces that I thought looked interesting, hairdos that I thought looked interesting, and just wanted to kind of do some really loose, colourful faces. And I really love how these turned out. This one, she looks a bit psychotic. This one is one of my absolute favourites. This is actually going to be coming up in the print shop, which will be happening very soon, depending on when this video goes out, or might already be live. If it's already live, I'll pop a link in the description. But do go and get on my newsletter list if you're interested in being the first to know when that happens. It will go out to my newsletter people first. Anyway, yeah, beautiful colours. I had so much fun doing this. Like, just really, I don't know, I didn't write down how long I took on each one, but just splashy, loosey-goosey. And then we have some more. Oh, this is just, I think this is just gouache. Like, not the acrylic gouache that I'm using all the time at the moment, but I love these old wooden boxes. I think I inherited them from my granddad, who was also an artist. And when he died, I got a bunch of his art supplies. and these beautiful wooden boxes. Yeah, so I use the Schminke Designer's Gouache and sometimes the Winsor & Newton Designer Gouache as well. So it's water-soluble gouache, and I just mix up my own colours most of the time. And then these two, same principle, just finding reference images of just random people, and you probably wouldn't like be able to tell who the people were from these paintings. Like I'm never really after likeness with any of the art I make. I'm usually after sort of the essence of who somebody is, or what they look like, or just the feeling that they give me. Yeah, I really like both of these. This one, Open Mouths. I don't know if you've watched my podcast episode with Helen Wells where I draw a portrait of her as we're talking, and the image that she gave me, it was her like smiling with big open mouth and lots of teeth, and absolutely beautiful photograph. But drawing like people smiling and open mouths and teeth and stuff, it is so difficult to get that looking like normal and not completely batshit. It's notoriously bad. So yeah, we just do like an approximation of that. Move on. Oh, this is quite a hefty chunk of this book. These are shapes from Amsterdam. So when we go away, I don't really enjoy drawing on location on the whole. I am trying to kind of find ways that I can do it where it doesn't overwhelm me. I'm ADHD, I'm autistic, and I also have ADHD, which means that one of the things I struggle with a lot is sensory issues. So it can be really, really overwhelming for me to be in a high sensory environment. And for that reason, location drawing can sometimes be just too much. It's too overwhelming. I don't enjoy it. But one of the things that I have started doing more and more is collecting shapes. So I'm not doing drawings. I'm not committing to anything like trying to render a beautiful scene or anything like that. I'm just collecting the shapes that feel like the essence of the place. And this really came about on this trip. So we went to Amsterdam in September last year, and we were on a boat trip, kind of traveling around the canals. And I just had this urge to collect the shapes. Like the shapes in Amsterdam are so distinctive. And I didn't even have a sketchbook with me. I hadn't even brought one with me on the trip. So Lars had a little notebook in his pocket, and I was like, oh, I just want to like copy down a couple of things. Can I borrow your notebook? So I did these, and it's like biro on notebook pages, and they're just like collecting the shapes from this boat trip. The view was it's brilliant being on a boat, because the view just you sit in the same place and the view changes, the view passes you by. This is the same for any kind of transport, really. Anyway, when we got home, I copied out the shapes that I had drawn in biro on notebook pages into my sketchbook. So these are, I don't know if they show up hugely well on camera, but these are the shapes of Amsterdam. These are the shapes that I was seeing as we were kind of going past all these beautiful old buildings and through the canals. There's like bridges and twiddly bits and turrets on the houses and all different kind of window shapes. Some of them look a bit like drawings. These are the windows. Bicycles. These are bridges with lights around them. Some of them look like drawings, like this is like almost a drawing. And some of them are just like these shapes. Things that caught my eye, things that felt particularly Amsterdam. Like nothing is, rendered out or anything like that. It's literally just shapes. And you know what? These shapes for me are so evocative of that place. Like they are so Amsterdam to me. And when I'm looking at them, even though I rendered like this shorthand, I remember the exact bridge that we went under where I captured this shape. Like, I remember seeing all of these different windows. I remember where this was. It's just like putting a line on a page cements it in your mind in the most incredible way. So that's what I do now. When I go out location drawing, I collect shapes. And it's much more peaceful, it's much more... there's no kind of sense of being like, I've got to finish this drawing, I've got to complete this thing, because you're just collecting shapes. It doesn't matter if it's good, it's not supposed to be good. I have a real issue with art being good. I think it causes more problems. It causes problems for everybody. Creativity is about the process, not the outcome. But that's a rant for a whole different day. Right now, we're just collecting shapes, and that's lovely. So all of that was from Amsterdam. And then this is from another Patreon session. This is TJ Marston, who goes by Sketch It Studio on Instagram, I think. And this was like a draw along thing that she did. And I wanted to explore doing some landscape stuff. I felt like maybe sort of practicing some landscape stuff in the studio would help with the location drawing, because landscapes is not a thing that I draw particularly ever, and I don't really know how I want to describe a landscape. And whenever I don't know how I want to do something, I tend to see how other people are doing it and then smoosh that all together and see what bits I like and what inspires me from there and what bits I don't like and how I don't want to do it. And yeah, it's a process of sort of search and discovery, which is something you'll hear me kind of talk quite a lot. I think it's a really crucial part of the creative process, is like search and discover, and it never stops. It doesn't matter how long you've been doing art or being an artist or whatever, it's part of the job, is search and discovery. So this is not my original work. This is a copy of a TJ Marston thing, just to kind of explore what she was doing and how she was doing it, and if that was something that I wanted to sort of take with me into my interpretation of landscape. I feel like this is a bit too accurate, for want of a better word. I'm much more interested in, it's not for me. It's not for me for whatever reason. I did sort of do something similar here, but it just didn't feel right, you know. It's like wearing somebody else's shoes. There are some elements that I can take forwards. I really liked her way of doing foliage, which is just like plonking a lot of different greens down and then scribbling on top of them. Like that's a rendering of foliage I can get on board with. Yeah. So, I don't know. I'm still not, I think the problem is I'm not excited by landscape. Like, I like objects and cats, whisper it, and interiors. Like, I'm a hermit, I'm autistic, I very rarely leave my house. I like things that happen inside. So this really is like, it's a stretch for me on about 11 different levels, which means that it's worth doing. Like, it's always worth pushing yourself to do stuff that you don't think you'd be interested in, just to see and have a go, and who knows what could come of it. But yeah, this is not really my cup of tea. This, on the other hand, makes me so excited. I love doing this. I will do this given, I don't know, any spare half an hour and a bunch of paints. I want to mix colours. It's like meditation. It's my happy place for sure. And I think every sketchbook I've got has several pages, which is just me mixing colours and trying things out, and just the process of the alchemy of putting this colour with this colour and you come up with this colour. Like, it's just, I think it's magic. I think it's absolute magic, and I love it. So yeah, this is just a joyful exploration of colour. choosing like warm reds and cool reds and different yellows and things, and seeing the enormous variations that happen. And again, this is just that designer's gouache, the water soluble stuff. And oh, they're just beautiful. Like the colour is my joy. These are such beautiful pages, and the range of colours that you can get just from like 3 colours. Isn't that magic? Isn't that an absolute fucking miracle? It's, I love it. I love it so much. Anyway, colour mixing. And then these are just looking at all these are the like 2 greens that I happen to have, and these are mixing them with all different other colours, so with black and with yellow and with red and burnt umber and all of that, just to see all the different variations in hue. This is mixing all the yellows with black and with white, and then this is burnt umber is the colour I use for mixing like most often. It's yeah, I use it in my acrylic work. It's one of my favourite things. I don't think I ever put colour on a page without first mixing it with a tiny bit of burnt umber, just to give it like this gorgeously sexy tone. Like, it's just mwah. I love it. This is just, when I'm painting, I'll have my sketchbook open sometimes. I'm just cleaning my brushes. I really like how this looks though. I love the brush marks. And this has just got paper between because it's acrylic, so it will stick otherwise. This is just, yeah, brush cleaning, swatching out some acrylic paints, and playing with ink. Oh, this is just some Sennelier ink that I got, so just swatching those out, those colours. And this is more brush cleaning, I think. These Sennelier inks are really nice. Look like this. I really love them. And graphite scribbles, brush cleaning. They're not very interesting. Neocolor 2 swatches, seeing what colours I had, what colours I needed to complete the set. And this is the Coloursoft tin that I showed you, and then the pastel pencil tin as well. Just swatching out all the colours. I love these pages, they're so beautiful. And then this was mixing those god-awful ink pens that I mixed up, trying to get the colour balance where I wanted it. So it's just testing over and over again. And thus endeth another sketchbook. I've even gone onto the board on that one. And there we go, that's the whole thing. So I hope that you've enjoyed part 2. If you like sketchbook tours, I'm amassing quite a collection on my YouTube channel. There is a playlist which is right here. So you should go and watch that if you like sketchbook tours, and I will see you in the next video. If you like this, please do give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, and then you'll never miss a thing. Thanks so much. Bye!